Just like a lot of the community right now, I've been waiting for a lot of my handhelds. In the meantime, I decided to pick up my first mechanical keyboard. Let's open it and take a look. I picked this one up on Amazon for about 73 Canadian, which wasn't too bad considering all the features it had. The RK61 from Royal Clutch comes with Bluetooth support and wireless compatibility. It also has a rechargeable battery. Let's pop the box open and take a look at the keyboard. Not the fanciest packaging, but that's okay. Let's take a look at the keyboard. I've put off buying a mechanical keyboard for years just because I thought they were always really loud, and I hate loud keyboards. I did buy some replacement switches, so we'll try those after we try the original ones that come in the keyboard. In the box, we get the Type-C cable and some replacement switches. Kinda nice to see that. With how this was looking so far, I was kinda worried this was gonna be one of the more cheaper keyboards, build quality wise, but pleased to report this does actually look pretty nice in the hand. Picking this thing up, I was actually surprised by how heavy it was. It's a lot heavier than I imagined. Here's some sample audio of the keyboard right out of the packaging. I am slightly worried that that was a little louder than I was hoping, but initial impressions of the keyboard so far are pretty good. This keyboard comes in a couple different varieties. I picked the red switches as I figured that they would be the quietest of the lot. My biggest concern with the keyboard so far is this USB port here. It's extremely hard to put the cable in and even harder to pull it out. If you plan on using this as your daily keyboard, I would probably recommend replacing this USB cable eventually. The USB cable I got with my phone in comparison works a lot better, and I think that's what I'm going to use to charge the device. This is not unusable, this USB cable, but it's pretty bad and I wouldn't recommend using it. The plastic on the keyboard is pretty solid. There's a slight key wobble to this keyboard, but it's not too bad, and I don't think it's going to bother me on a day-to-day basis. Luckily, the wobble doesn't affect the key presses at all. The keycaps feel pretty high quality as well, and I do quite like them. The USB dongle sits on the back, just recessed into the keyboard. Not a bad place, but the switches are also there, and you have to turn it over every time you want to turn it on or off. Here's an unedited sample of those red switches in action. Another great feature of this board is the many different backlight modes. Let's take a look at some of them. The backlight flickers on this recording, but it doesn't actually flicker in real life. It's just the way the camera records it. Before we install the new switches, let's make a cup of genmaicha. Genmaicha is a green tea with some roasted brown rice in it. Genmaicha has a smooth, nutty flavor with some roasted notes as well. The tea is terrific hot, but you can also have it chilled on a hot day. Good quality genmaicha has a very smooth flavor and it shouldn't taste very bitter when you're having it. After about 30 to 60 seconds, you can pour out the tea and enjoy. The tea becomes bitter if you steep it too long. It should come out a dark, gold, rich color. Compared to a lot of other green teas, it is quite affordable and you can find it at your local supermart. That looks like a nice cup of tea. I think I'm going to enjoy it. Now let's get to installing those new keyboard switches. Bought these off AliExpress for about 25 Canadian. They're Otemu Silent Ocean switches. I'll leave a non-affiliate link in the description below if you're interested in picking up some yourself. This was my first time installing keyboard switches, so it took a little while to figure out how they came out, but I've managed to get them all out okay. They did require a little bit of force. I didn't realize that you had to pull from the top and the bottom, not the sides, to get them out a lot easier. I'm going to do a bit of a time lapse on this next part because it's going to take me a while to install these. Feel free to skip through it if you want. Originally, I put the Control, Windows, and Alt buttons in the wrong spot, so I had to go back in and adjust those after. All in all, that wasn't too bad, and I'm happy with how it turned out. I'll gladly do that again sometime. That's definitely going to help out with those classic PC games. Here's a final test of the keyboard sounds after the new switches have been installed. Even if this was going to be my secondary keyboard, honestly I'm tempted to grab another one just because it's such a nice experience now over my old keyboard on my desktop. If I knew how flexible mechanical keyboards were, I would have switched over years ago. All in all, I think this is a great kit to get into mechanical keyboards. I think you're going to have a lot of fun with this one.